Hey guys, what is up? It's Dusty here, back with another crypto video. Today, we're going to be talking about Ripple XRP and Cardano ADA. But before we get into any of that, make sure you press the like button on this video because we're giving away $200 worth of crypto. All that you have to do is press the like button on this video, comment something down below and have the notification bell on, and that's it. You're automatically entered. Once we hit 299 likes within 24 hours, we're giving it away, so make sure you smash that like button. First video of the day comes from Roses on the Moon, at Roses on the Moon on Twitter. She says, top XRP news, and that's most likely of this week. First of all, Ripple valued at $10 billion in a new $200 million funding round. And most likely you're already wondering like, oh, what happened right there? Where did this come from? Well, it's actually pretty interesting. CNBC went onto Twitter and on everywhere to state, Ripple, the creator of XRP cryptocurrency, is now valued at $10 billion. Yes, they actually said $10 billion. To me, it's still quite bamboozling how they did this. $10 billion, to me, it's really insane. You might be saying like, oh, but Dusty, that's yesterday's news. Doesn't matter. We still got to cover this type of stuff. And I like to cover it all my own pace, my own way. I mean, price-wise, didn't make a difference if you bought today or yesterday. Like, the price went down anyway. So please don't bother me with that type of stuff. I cover it in my own time whenever I think it's necessary. And I want to get the news to you guys anyway. So that's how I do it. Ripple says it's raised a $200 million investment C round, that values the blockchain firm at $10 billion. The company uses XRP to facilitate cross-border transactions for its network of financial institutions. Two things here to note. One, CNBC has given some major exposure to Ripple right here. That's one thing that's definitely going on right there, which to me is definitely pretty amazing. And the second part is that Ripple raised $200 billion and now they're valued at $10 billion, which kind of means like, all right, they valued Ripple at one point, right, to decide what type of share or what type of reward they would get for the $200 million. Because of course you got to decide how much the company is worth to be able to invest in it again. Because otherwise, what are they going to get? They just put this much money in, but what happens then? And that's really an interesting but difficult question. This $10 billion, however, though, can be based upon many things, and I don't think they'll share any of that too deep stuff with us. Why won't they? Because most of the time it really has a lot to do with the money that's inside of them as well. And as of yet, I've not seen too many public things about how Ripple handles their money too well yet. I think we'll be finding out more about that in a couple of months here, as the first quarter maybe rolls around at the end, we're going to see more reports coming by. I think you can look it up if you really want to, but I've never really been bothered to, or really have bothered to look it up. Maybe that's a cool analysis for you guys, just to see exactly how much money is flowing around within Ripple and exactly what they spend it on, what they do with it, and what they report. I don't know exactly how it works in America and what type of things you are obliged to do. In the Netherlands, it's pretty strange and I think it's a little bit different as well, how exactly it works. I know for a fact that you can see a lot of papers online if you want to, but maybe because Ripple's private, it works a lot differently. I'd like to know from you guys what you have to say about that, because I'm not too familiar with the American systems. But I think there's a lot of stuff that still can be found out, because they do publish quite a lot of info. Second part, because this part is really cool and we have a video on it somewhere as well. Just got to quickly find it. I think we'll find it on later here. Second part was Börse Stuttgart and SBI Group announced collaboration. This is again positive for XRP, just because the connection with SBI here is just completely insane. Börse Stuttgart here, this stuff is just really getting out of hand. And what I'm trying to say that here is just the amount of reach that Ripple is having, and the amount of utilized reach as well, because they have reach because of their partners, but the utilized reach, so how they're connecting everything together, is just becoming insane. Wow. Congress considers federal crypto regulations or regulators in new Cryptocurrency Act of 2020. This is going to be a very interesting part, yet there's not too much information from my side here that I can give you on that. And also, Ripple affiliate Forte partners with games portal Congregate. Well, Forte is one of Ripple's partners, and I think Ripple invested in them or maybe Spring did. I don't quite remember exactly which one invested in Forte. It doesn't really matter. But the Forte here is actually partnering up with some crazy games right there. Even some of the games I used to have on my computer, I don't exactly know the names anymore. But if you look up Forte, you'll most likely find online exactly what partners they've been having. But yeah, it was pretty interesting to me to read up on that as well. Just because I would have not really expected to see anything come back from Forte. But yeah, I guess they've continued their legacy, and I'm proud of them. Oh yeah, here's the video now. CNBC Fast Money on Twitter said, Ripple making a splash with its valuation hitting $10 billion today. Here's what our traders see ahead for the cryptocurrency exchange.
In XRP today, basically the parent company of Ripple. The crypto shooting higher after blockchain startup got an eye-popping valuation. Kate Rooney is out in San Francisco with the details. When they sent me the story, I said, well, Kate screwed up. That can't be, billion. It's got to be million. What is this?
Ryan, you're reading it right. So Ripple announced a $200 million funding round today, and that money is not in cryptocurrency. The new cash injection brings Ripple's valuation to $10 billion, making it one of the most valuable private startups in Silicon Valley. But a key lifeblood of its business has been tanking. Ripple is the majority owner of cryptocurrency XRP and sells it every quarter to help fund the business. Ripple also uses XRP as a so-called bridge currency for cross-border transactions. XRP had skyrocketed alongside Bitcoin 2 years ago. It's now down roughly 50% this year, while Bitcoin has actually rallied 80%. Ripple's main business is a cross-border payment system built on blockchain that's used to send money around the world. The startup says it now has 300 customers globally and ink deals with MoneyGram, Santander, and American Express. Brian.
That's a good story. It's a big one. Kate Rooney out in San Francisco. Thank you very much. So let's put that $10 billion valuation into perspective, shall we, gentlemen?
Let's do it.
It is bigger than the market caps of Bed Bath & Beyond, Whirlpool, and Planet Fitness. So does Ripple really belong in the $10 billion club, Guy Dummy?
I don't think so, but this is not my skating rink. This is not
your
my
fort.
Oval. It's not my forte.
It's fort. It's actually.
But I mean, the market decides that. I don't decide that. So if the market, as they said, remember the movie Coming to America? It's Mama named him Clay. I'm calling him Clay. Well, if it's worth $10 billion to them, it's worth $10 billion to me. Does that make sense?
Is there some of this, Carter, and in all seriousness, where you see these kind of valuations? Listen, I don't understand. There must somebody understands something that I don't understand or we don't understand. But you're seeing so much money thrown at these companies. Then you look at Uber and all these others that are having trouble. What does it tell you about a macro market?
It's the nature of something that's unknown and new. The dream can sort of be big, right? And then at some point the child is grown and the dream is gone.
Is this personal? You want to get on a couch?
No, that's Pink Floyd.
I know, yeah.
Right. But the point is that that's the nature of anything that's unknown. You can put any valuation on it, right? And that's what people do. But when it has to prove itself, things can go very badly.
Just look, the cryptocurrency, especially as you get into second and third term, because this has been 21 days to Sunday, the institutional representation in this investment is important, and it's actually very impressive.
Take a look.
Okay, so yeah, pretty interesting to me how CNBC dedicated quite a couple of minutes just to explain the story here. A little bit of CNBC talk, of course, and how they like to do it, but still a lot of exposure being given to Ripple here, which to me is quite amazing. But then more specifically, the attention given to XRP is just insane, and I think that's always just amazing to see. Our coin that we so much love and like, yeah, for them to excel so far into this world right now. It's just insane. It's just insane to me. Really, I can't even. So yeah, Tritech6 also said on Twitter, huge congrats to Ripple. It's an honor to be part of an amazing journey. And that's also a reply to the $10 billion valuation. Whenever I read these tweets, I do sometimes wonder, like, are we happy with $10 billion as a valuation? Just because, realistically speaking, it's way too low for really what they do and what they can achieve. Right, that's where I kind of sometimes am confused, because I mean, $10 billion for Ripple is not even that much, but on a certain extent, also it's quite a lot because of how young they are and how quickly they've been moving. So it's a little bit of a two-mind game. Another article here says, with a $10 billion Ripple valuation, XRP could be set for an explosive growth. I mean, we all know, right? We all know. There's explosive growth that's going to be coming for for XRP. We all know. The only question is exactly what is going to be causing it, and still, I think there's no real good answer to that at all. I still definitely don't think there's one good answer. One good thing about this all, though, is that at least for some more speculation, at least for some more kind of a, how would you describe that in English, like a surprise factor, and also a lot of more reason to just be going back and forward, talking to everybody, what everybody's thinking, speculating, yet masterminding all this. Crypto Ari here said, or this is actually a subtitle, crypto communities rejoices as Ripple claims second place among most valuable crypto companies globally, because the first one, I guess, is Bitmain at 12 billion, right? And Ripple then, I guess, is second at 10 billion. Crypto Ari says, knock knock, who's there? Ripple, all right, your second most valuable company in the industry behind Bitmain and tied for 18th as most valuable startup in the world. Masari. Congrats, you can onboard the best global talent and boost XRP with your funding. Yeah, again, pretty amazing stuff, pretty cool to me as well. And then last but not least, I wanted to briefly talk about Cardano, as I said earlier, just because I think they deserve it. Definitely think they deserve it. They've been doing such a good job in the last years already, and I think they deserve a little bit more than I give them credit for. Cardano is one of the coins I used to talk about every single day. Same for Stellar, same for VeChain, same for Tron, same for ETN for a little while. But Cardano is definitely one of the coins that deserves it all. I mean, how they've been moving here is just insane, and what they deserve is the world. Really, to me, they're definitely top 5 cryptocurrencies ever. Cardano's ADA testnet success shows how decentralization should work, and that's exactly the point I'm trying to make here. Decentralization is really Cardano's creme de la creme. That's also what they're going for, and gonna show the world how it's done through small steps. We all know Cardano has a different approach than most crypto. They're not trying to do anything fast. They're trying to do it slow, laid back, yet effective and steady. So with gradual movement, making everything really solid, making sure there's no bugs when something comes out, or whenever they come out, they want to be fixed immediately instead of let's rush out everything and then fix it as we go. No, fix it, then move forward, and just a real steady and fast approach. It's just vast with a V then. It is just so different, and it makes them unique. But that's also why they're, I think, going to make so much of a dent in decentralization and in staking, really, just because of their different approach to everything than how it's traditionally being done. Charles Hoskinson, the mastermind behind much of this, is also a co-founder of Ethereum, and I think that's also something fun to note. Very happy about the launch. Lots of minor issues and intermittent bugs reported. We will cut a new release with updates to this. The wallet backed on Jormungandr, the wallet backend on December 23rd to sweep up these issues. Merry Christmas. IOHK also earlier said, it's here, the Daedalus rewards. By the way, Daedalus, there's a fun story behind all these names you did not know. These are all Greek mythological names, and they all do different things. They have, like Voltaire as well. They have historians. They have all to do with history, and sometimes the Greeks, sometimes the newer thinkers, and yeah, there's actually tons of different names that they have, which is, to me, pretty interesting as well. I don't know exactly why they chose these names for some of the projects, but Daedalus was, the guy with the wings, Daedalus and Icarus. So there's the father, Daedalus, and then the Icarus is the son, and there's a whole little story surrounding it. You have the Minotaur, and a king and the babies and whatever. There's also deeper stories behind it, which we're not going to get into. But really, the summary of the story is Daedalus goes and builds wings because they're locked up at the top of a tower, sort of a prison. But then, in the open air, they decide to build wings. They go ahead and fly away from this prison, he and his son. And at one point, he says to his son, all right, just stay floating here. Don't go too close to the water because the feathers will get damp, or the glue will, take off, whatever. Don't go too high up because the glue will also deteriorate or something like that. But his son, Icarus, is so overwhelmed with the feeling of power and of freedom, of being able to fly. He flies too close to the sun and then falls down into the water. I think Daedalus, there's so much for them to represent. I think these names are not just something they chose arbitrarily. I think there's a little bit more of a reasoning behind that. Here, Byron, Shelley, Gauguin, Basho, Voltaire. I know them all except for Shelley. I don't exactly know which Shelley this would be. But again, there's some bigger stuff behind this. I'm going to find it out piece by piece, actually, just because I find it so interesting, but to see possibly how it's all being related. Because up to now, I've never really thought about it, to check exactly how it all works. Maybe they chose them arbitrarily, though. You know, maybe they chose everything for a good reason. In this sense, maybe they didn't. I don't know. Maybe they just liked all the names. Could also be. I'm gonna check it out. But hey, guys, thank you for watching this video. Hopefully you did enjoy. If you did, make sure you press the like button. And I think I'll see you guys again in another crypto video. Make sure you subscribe. And make sure to see me again in another crypto video. And also, don't forget to check out all the links in the description below. Take care, everybody.